I think our relationship's gotten a lot better
Yeah.
because I've tried to treat him like a human being, or like a, that sounds shitty,
Okay.
but it sounded like you.
Did it?
Yeah,
Like a more refined, like a bourbon version of me.
like a less gay version of you.
The less gay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wonder what a more gay version would me sound like. Hi.
Just record your voice right now.
Hi, this is me. And today we're going to be talking about dad guilt. I know this is kind of hard for you to understand because I might not sound like a father, right? But this is me.
Welcome back to the Dad Compass podcast, where fatherhood meets real talk. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Dimitri.
Today we're talking about dad guilt, and we're going to touch on some sibling rivalry and how we parent through sibling rivalry.
Yes. I locked mine into a dungeon far, far away from civilization. I let them battle to the death. I started with 10 kids. I'm down to 3.
Nice.
Some would say I have the best of the best now.
What's your goal to get down to the one?
I feel like if I get down to 1, I'm going to have to make more. And I don't want to. I want to make more. But I don't want to have more. That makes sense.
Is Ellie like is she the top runner right now?
Yeah. She I'll put it this way, she is the antagonist of the house.
Davis is my antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always been though. He's just like
Just kind of talk shit for no reason.
no, he's got a reason. He's got a motive. I don't know what his motive is, but he's got a motive.
Yeah, mine seems like there's no fucking motive. It's just whatever someone else is doing. No, I need to be doing that, and I'm gonna tell you how to do what you're doing because you have no clue what you're doing. I'm like, dude, stop.
All right, are we doing
Fatherhood Unscripted?
Oh shit! I almost missed that part. Okay.
The most important part, man.
All right. Fatherhood Unscripted.
Start it off, man.
Okay, cool. I actually got 2, and one of them isn't really a child of mine, but it's a story that I want to share. It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is my real child. So last weekend, we. This is probably going to sound kind of silly, but I don't care. Me and a bunch of buddies from work, a bunch of middle-aged men, had a Madden tournament that was hosted at my house. I did it like in my early 20s, and we had a lot of fun, and it was a good time. And
did you win?
I did not win. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, it's a whole thing.
Terrible.
The guy who won, I lost to him by like 2, and he was smashing people. So I could have won, but I didn't. So it is what it is. I'm super competitive, which I was pissed off. So anyways.
I mean, you didn't do good enough.
I didn't do good enough. The moral of the story is Jackson, my youngest boy, was like kind of intrigued by it. He wanted to stay and watch. He was supposed to go back to his mom's. So we hung out all day Saturday, prepared a bunch of food for Sunday, and then on Sunday he hung out and watched us all play, and it was a good bonding moment. But I guess the moral of the story is I've got 3 boys that are all in their teens, and none of them have been into sports like I'm into sports. Davis plays some sports, but like I don't think he's ever watched a football game with me or anything. And
I don't blame him.
I hate you, Dimitri.
No, it's just sports. Watching him.
You don't like watching sports, but you like playing sports?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I love watching sports. I specifically love watching football. I am a diehard Bronco fan. I watch the Broncos play every single Sunday. And none of my kids have like caught on to that. Like, and that it's okay. It's okay. Like, I've never forced them. I've definitely asked them, and then once they weren't interested, I just let it go. Jackson has expressed a little bit of interest. He got super big into the Super Bowl. And then after the whole Madden thing, he's like, hey, can I play? And I was like, sure. And so he's playing a season right now. And I just think it's kind of cool because
Nice.
he might be my first one that actually will get into football and watch football with me, which is exciting.
Yeah. That is exciting.
So that's my real child, Fatherhood Unscripted. And then I have another story I want to share. So on Friday night, me and Deanna and August were watching TV, and my phone rang, and the name popped up I hadn't heard from in a long time, and it was the old house manager. If you go back to, I think the very first episode we did, talking about sober living, and I talk about my house manager who went into the Navy. Well,
Yeah.
he was going through training. He just got done with his training, and he called me, and he finished number 5 overall in everyone that was there
Wow.
out of 875 people.
Damn, dude.
And I wasn't necessarily surprised. I think pretty highly of this individual. He's a really, really good dude that battled some addiction problems, but I will tell you that he works super hard. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't that surprised. I mean, I was.
Did you feel proud?
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to share the story. Like, it was kind of like a proud dad moment. And we're about, I think, 12 years apart.
Yeah.
Um, and we have a connection. He is also a Broncos fan, and we just have a connection. He's just a good person and a good human trying to like change his life. So I was super
That's
proud of
awesome.
him, and it was a cool phone call to get. I'll just say that.
You had some serious impact for somebody to, well, he kind of started it all off with you guys, right? You guys, he
Yep.
wanted to get better, and you gave him a pathway. And next thing you know, he's finishing 5th in his class. That's pretty cool. Out of 800 people, through all the training,
Yeah,
it's
he was
impressive.
number 1 in his group. It sounds like there was. Um, I don't know. I'm not super savvy when it comes to like all the military stuff, but
Hmm.
he was broken up into a smaller group. He was number 1 in his group. Out of all the groups combined,
Wow.
he was top 6. And he's got a ribbon that he gets to wear for the rest of his career, and it's on all of his. I'm going to call them transcripts. I don't think that was the word he used, but like moving forward, it's
Yeah.
going to make his life a little bit easier when he's applying for different ranks or different
Wow.
positions throughout the Navy. So
That
I'm
is awesome.
super proud of him. I'm not, like I said, I'm not that surprised. He's a smart dude. He works hard.
Yeah.
He's a good human being. So
Hell yeah, man. It's a pretty good. So, a question: why do they call football in America football when you don't play with your goddamn feet? Why did America have to be different and say, you know what? You guys call this football and you play with your feet? We're going to flip it on you. We're going to play with our hands
and also call it football.
and
I
call it
don't know the
football.
answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. I mean,
I
they
think they
do
just want to
kick
be
the
difficult.
ball.
Like, rarely. I guess not rarely,
Yeah,
like once. right?
It's like
For
once a
their
drive.
punting or kickoffs and shit.
It's actually like twice a drive.
Yeah, they punt and then they kick off.
1.5 times per drive. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. Now I'm gonna look it up
Fucking weird,
though.
dude. I thought you would know.
No,
I'm actually surprised you don't know that.
I never really cared that much. Well,
I,
I mean, I was never into soccer or football.
football.
Yeah, I was never into that, and then so I didn't realize that they even called that football until like later on in life. It was always soccer to me, which I played soccer. I've never really been big into watching soccer.
So it's like America was into punching women, so they're like, we're gonna call this soccer, and we're gonna call this football.
You're stupid.
All right. Well, so my fatherhood unscripted moment. I have one, and it was actually yesterday when we went to Red Robin. It was super loud in there. Like it was a lot of sounds going on, and my daughter got like a little bit overwhelmed as to like with everything happening, and she sat there and she kind of started to cry, and I walked over and told my son to move so I could sit next to her. I was like, what's going on? She's like, it's too much. She's like, I'm trying to hear you guys, but I can't hear you because I'm hearing the kitchen, then I'm hearing all these people talking behind me, and it was just a lot, and it was kind of not funny, but like I have like similar things where you kind of hyperfixate on the sounds going around you, and it gets like too much. So I ended up sitting there with her, and I said, "All right, well, tell me a couple of things that you can, feel in a moment. Like, what's your hand touching right now? What, like, can you feel your pants? Can you feel the table? Like, and then like kind of getting her back into like a present moment. And then she was perfectly fine. But like, I told her, I was like, what you're dealing with right now is I'm dealing with at the same time. So as much as this is helping you kind of calm down, you calming down is helping me calm down. So yeah, it was nice to see that other side of her, and we did that at our nightly prayer and what we're grateful for. And I said it was nice to see that little 8-year-old again that has emotions and feelings and can get overwhelmed and just kind of like let it out instead of fighting and being full of attitude and just being angry. And then we said, I love you. Obviously.
Nice.
That's it. That's my fatherhood unscripted. And I bought Legos yesterday, which my wife was not happy about.
You bought them for everybody?
Yes.
So you guys are gonna like build stuff?
We did.
It's not specific stuff, right? It was just like a hodgepodge.
Well, there's like specific things you can build. Like it came in a book. There's like 3 books in it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it gives you ideas to build like just random shit.
My wife's cutting cheese right now. She brought home this isn't fatherhood and scripted related, but she brought home no, you got that one from somewhere. Oh, she bought me a cheese thing, and I don't like cheese.
You don't like cheese?
And I've never used it. No, but it came with this little hatchet.
A cheese thing?
So I used the hatchet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a wire thing, and
I don't.
Cutter.
Yeah. My grandma used to have one of those.
I mean, it's working phenomenally right now. I'm watching it, and I don't even want cheese, but I kind of want to use it now.
I'm still questioning why you don't like cheese. What the fuck's wrong with you?
I like smoked Gouda, but I only like a certain type of smoked Gouda. Do you like goat cheese?
I like literally any kind of cheese.
Dude, goat cheese smells like a goat's asshole, like a dirty goat's asshole. I don't understand how anybody likes goat cheese.
Cheese doesn't smell great. Fish doesn't smell great either. Fish tastes good. Cheese tastes good.
Yeah, I like sardines and anchovies.
Yeah, see? Don't be going off of smell, dude.
Dude, there's a lot of things I judge off of smell, and a cheese that smells like that.
I love cheese.
Oh
I love
man,
cheese.
what's your favorite cheese?
I mean, I'm not a cheese snob, so I'm good with like cheddar, but I'll eat literally any kind. It doesn't matter. It's cottage cheese, block cheese. I prefer block cheese over like pre-shredded cheese. I don't like all that fucking powder and shit they put on it to preserve it. I like shredding my own cheese. I used to.
That's fair.
Prior to Deanne moving in, I used to shred all my own cheese, and then she does a lot of the cooking now. And when she moved in, she would fucking hit her knuckles and shit on the cheese grater. So she's like, we're not doing this anymore. So she started buying the bag cheese. So I was like, whatever. Like, I'm not cooking, so I'm not going to tell you that we have to do this. So then
you got out of the life of shredder.
She found this cheese grater on Amazon or whatever that kind of just does it for you. Like, you just turn the crank.
Oh.
And she's like, if you get that for me, we'll go back to having real cheese. So the last couple of weeks, we've been having some real cheese. It's been super excited.
Okay.
I like Tillamook.
Tillamook? What kind of cheese do you like, though?
I like cheddar. I like white cheddar. I like white cheddar. Like a good white cheddar is the best. I like pepper jack. I love pepper jack.
I like pepper jack too. Like that spicy little tang in there.
Dude, we made this dip last night.
Give me a second before you talk about the dip.
Okay. Should get a bigger water bottle.
How big do you think this is?
What are you, fucking camping?
It's a gallon, dude. It's not that big. I mean, it's. I was camping.
For 2 years.
Literally lived the life of a camper. Fucking the only thing we didn't do is shit in the woods.
All right, are we ready?
I'm ready for your cheese story.
Okay, so we made this. It's like a Mexican corn dip. So it's 3 cans of Mexican corn, cream cheese, sour cream, a block of pepper jack, tahini, and then cilantro. It was so fucking good. Oh my god, it was so good.
I will say, when at work we had that chili contest, yours was always the best.
Thanks.
I'm just saying, that it was so good.
Appreciate that.
Loved your dip. Yeah, your dip was so good.
Well, all right, dad guilt.
Dad guilt. Well, do you want me to go first, and I'll give you my definition of dad guilt?
Sure, that works.
Awesome, because I don't know.
That's why it's gonna be better.
I guess I would define dad guilt for me is doing. I guess not really. Well, I guess maybe not doing enough, like throughout the day, for the kids. Like, if they want to go to the park, and be like, no, I don't really want to go to the park because I don't want to see all these other people's kids, fucking noses running and just being dirty little birdies. But yeah, I think it's just like not doing enough of the stuff that you should be doing, that you personally either feel like you should be doing, or you feel like society is making you have to do those things. Like not being super calm and collected all the time. Instead of, be like, hey, can you guys stop? Be like, Charlie, listen. Please stop. It's okay. Because my reaction is, dude, stop. So I guess that feel guilt. That's like that fake thought process of how you're supposed to parent, maybe. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think mine's gonna be similar. And like, so a question for you: you had brought up the whole park thing because I've actually had similar situations happen. Do you feel guilty later on, or do you immediately feel guilty?
I my guilt's usually like immediate, and then I try to do the right thing. And it's kind of funny because after the fact, it just comes down to me not wanting to do those things, and everything's fine. So yeah, it's that guilt is kind of immediate. Then I try to shift gears into, all right, well, I don't really want to do this, but that's the whole point of like being a dad is doing shit you don't want to do.
I don't think that's the whole point of being a dad, but that's the privilege of being a dad.
Can you hear Sonic in the background?
I heard something, but I wasn't really paying attention.
Hey, plug in your headphones, dude. Then unplug. They're charged enough. Dad guilt. They're charged enough. You're fucking gonna keep blasting at me, dude. Dude, no, put him on your face.
Lose your shit on him right now. That'll really fit into this topic.
Crisis averted. I apologized, and I did not lose my shit.
I heard no yelling.
I did not yell.
All right, so dad guilt for me is it's pretty much similar to you. Like when I react a certain way, and then I finally get my bearings and realize that like I was like my losing my shit moment was worse than what actually happened with the kids.
It's like we're the problem sometimes.
Yeah. And you know, Logan took the brunt of a lot of that stuff. I've talked about this a little bit, but like when he was at a young age, I was fine with spanking my kids. It was just something that I wasn't avidly against.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that I'm avidly against it now. I just decided that there's other ways to do things.
They're too old now for spankings.
Well, sure. I mean, I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. So, however, I've just learned that there's other ways to do things. And so my progression as a parent was I would spank Logan. And then I was like, I don't need to do that. Let's do things differently. And so the thing that I always struggled with though for a long time, and I still struggle with it a little bit, is yelling and like losing my shit. And it's like over the top and irrational yelling.
Yeah.
Like to the point where all my kids are scared of me. And I don't want my kids to be scared of me. Like, I don't want to say anything to him because he's going to snap.
Yeah.
And there was probably a couple year span in there where I think that they felt that way. For the most part, once Logan hit probably about 16 or 17, I think I've been able to curb that a little bit. I can actually remember a specific instance where he was driving and he was driving like shit. It was bad. So Logan and I were working together and we were leaving work and we were more than a mile away from the shop and he had like 4 different instances where he almost fucking killed us. And so we're going into this roundabout and I'm like, fucking pull over. And so I had him pull into this parking lot through the roundabout and I just like I berated him for like 5 minutes. And then I'm like,
how was his driving afterwards?
It was bad. Well, so I think we should talk about this later. We should talk about this later on down the road. But like, I learned some pretty good tips about teaching kids how to drive, because
Yeah.
it's a very stressful thing. But I think the rest of the way home, he wasn't very focused. Like, I wasn't, my reaction wasn't right, but like he was
Yeah.
also, he was not focusing. And so
Yeah.
he was being very like, I don't know, like nonchalant. Like, it's just not a big deal. And I was like, dude, this is a fucking automobile. Like, you could
Mm-hmm.
die. Like, it was serious.
Yeah.
It just didn't need to be delivered the way that I delivered it. And that's the last one that I specifically remember where I just lost it on him. Outside of that, I think our relationship's gotten a lot better
Yeah.
because I've tried to treat him like a human being, or like a, that sounds shitty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Crazy threats like, I'm gonna put my fucking foot so far up your ass it comes out your mouth and starts talking, like just weird shit. That is he really gonna
Yes.
do that?
Yes.
And like my kids have like caught on. They're like, yeah, that's really not gonna put his foot up my ass. Like, it's not gonna happen. But yeah, no, it's kind of funny because I'm like the same way, and I think that's like where most of my like fatherhood could improve on, is taking a step back. But you know what's hard? Like, so my daughter will, if I step back and be like, take a breath or something, she'll kind of lean into it and be like, yeah, Dad. So what? Why can't I do this? And I'm just like, I'm like trying to like move back, and she's like back me to a corner. And I always ask her, I was like, all right, this is gonna go one of two ways. All right, you're either gonna be understanding and say, okay, Dad, I will stop this, or you're gonna keep pushing me, and I'm either gonna start yelling, or I'm gonna calmly tell you to go to your room. Like, it's your choice, your choice. She's like, yeah, but it's your choice on how you're gonna react. And then I'm like, I'm gonna start making this choice for you. And it's like, I think it's so hard. And it's like, I don't know if it's like movies and like the way that you see like the interaction with like parents, but it is so hard not to yell. And maybe it's just us. Maybe everyone else is just absolutely perfect and they don't have to yell because that's just the kind of relationship that they have. But I think like Logan could come to you with anything, because even through that yelling, he knew why you're yelling, because you cared. And I'm not saying like, okay, in order for you to care about your kids, you have to yell at your kids. I'm not saying that, but I think there's a certain amount of that. Like, you get so angry and so frustrated because you care, you know how important their future is and what they're doing, and they don't see the value in it. So it takes time for them to finally understand that.
Well, and I've yelled at Davis too. And I think there's this age range that's probably like, I don't know, like, I don't know, 11 to 12 to 15 or 16, where specifically teenage boys are, and obviously it's right around the time that they're going through puberty and stuff, but they're also, lazy is not the right word, but they're like a huge lack of effort. And that was a huge
Yeah.
part of my frustration with Logan. But I learned that like he's a really fucking hard worker, and when
Mm-hmm.
he wants to do something, he gets it done. But for me, I
Yep.
was like, I knew he had potential to do more, and when he didn't do more, I would snap. Like, it would piss me off.
Yeah.
And Davis was the same
Yep.
way. Davis was the same way. Like, and Davis hit. I think Davis hit it like a year earlier than Logan did. So
Yeah.
Logan got way more of my temper tantrum, so to speak,
Yeah.
than Davis did. But they both got it a little bit. And now, now with August is, I want to share the story just because it's Autism Awareness Month, and he's autistic. He's kind of hard to parent too, but like I've learned a lot of things throughout the years that have helped me. And a big one that I like to do to avoid the whole yelling is giving options, right? Like
Yeah.
if August wants to do something and we say no, and then he starts getting like upset and you could see it immediately.
Yeah.
I like to give him an option saying, hey, these are your two options. You can do this or you can do this. And a lot of times that actually works with August. It doesn't always work. And sometimes, I do yell, but
Yeah. It
I
gives them
don't think,
control.
yeah, yeah, yep. Well, it's in like food's a big one for him. And it's something that I think I would have like 10 years ago, I would have been pissed, like super pissed off about. And it still
Yeah.
kind of like gets me a little bit, but hey, I'm not eating dinner with you guys. Okay. Well then, and it's not that I'm not eating what you're eating. Okay.
Yeah.
Well then
Yeah.
you're on your own.
Yeah.
Well, you can have your leftovers from lunch. I don't want my leftovers.
Yeah.
Well, these are your two options. You either have dinner that we're having or you have your leftovers from lunch. That's
Yeah.
it. And usually you can get him to kind of compromise because he'll just pick the better of the two options and then it's good to go.
Yeah.
I used to be like, you're eating what we're eating or you deal with it. But
Yeah.
I do have a different perspective on food. I also have a different perspective on parenting than I used to. So I'm a lot more lenient.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the food thing is, and so since it's like on the top of like dad guilt, like, and this is weird because I don't like, I don't, I think my guilt comes from like societal guilt of like how you should parent and shit. And they're like, oh, well, if your child doesn't want to eat dinner, then you can't force them to eat dinner, and you can't force, dude, shut the front door. Like, I, so I tell my kids to kind of like similar to what you're saying, like how you deal with August. My kids aren't autistic, but you never know. When it comes to like dinner, you have two options. You either eat dinner or you're done eating for the night. And like I my wife used to like she would make something different for Ronan, then something different for Ellie, and I was not about that shit. I cannot stand like listen. If we made dinner, this is what you're eating. I don't want that. I don't care. It's not that I don't care about you, but I don't really care. Like you guys, life revolves around our kids. Well, guess what? As simple as dinner is, I think there's value, and that's like your first value point of doing something you don't want to do. And once you get through that, that gets easier. Our 16-year-old, obviously now, and um, my wife used to fucking hate me for it. I wouldn't let him leave the table until all of his food was gone. And it's not like he got big servings. And he used to fight constantly. Like, I don't, and now you know what, he comes in, doesn't matter what's for dinner, he'll eat it down. I like, gotta eat your veggies. He's like, done. And then he goes on his way. My daughter is now to that point. Like she's 8. She's about to be 9 actually. And like she still gives a little bit of fight here and there, but she's gotten, like, you talk about like your progression of like kids. I feel like your oldest, gets the grunt of it, but the younger ones are gonna get that value a lot sooner, and they're gonna be able to eat all their food better, or when they start driving, like figure shit out. Because they're gonna see like, oh well, dad's fucking livid, like, and this is over broccoli. So like I'm not eating my chicken nuggets, dad. Well, do you want to die? That kind of thing. And they're like, nope, don't want to die. So I think, but to your point of like handling different situations better, and especially with August having, him being autistic, that's there's definitely ways and like challenges that most people don't get to experience. And I think that's kind of cool. That you get to be a part of that. And the I would say another value from that is you're going to receive ways that you handle situations with him. They're going to also benefit situation that you handle with, your own kids. Like there's going to be things that intertwine. You're like, okay, well, this kind of like makes sense. If I can handle this calmly here, I can definitely handle this calmly there.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. No,
that.
It definitely helps. It's pretty challenging. Like it's
Give me a specific challenge.
brushing his teeth. And he, you know what? He did it last night with like no questions asked. It was pretty wild. He likes to hang out in the living room, and then slowly throughout the day, he'll migrate all of his stuffies, his toys, all of that stuff will end up in the living room. So last night was bedtime, and the dog was laying on he's got this giant Groot that's like the size of Ronan. Like it's huge.
Yeah.
The dog was laying their head on Groot, and he wanted Groot. And the dog gets pissed off when sleeping and anybody's messing with him.
Yeah.
And so we told him, like, you can't do this, but I will. I'm like, I will do this for you. I will get you Groot, but I need you to go brush your teeth. And it was like I don't brush my teeth at night. I'm like, well, we're going to get to the point where we're brushing our teeth at night. So this is a starting point. So he ended up going to do it. He did it on his own. I was able to arm wrestle the dog Groot. for Groot. And yeah, it was, so that's a situation that situation. But the flip side is Friday night, I don't know what he wanted it for, but he wanted a tape measure. And I was like, yeah, I got a tape measure. It's in the drawer. So he comes and grabs a tape measure, and he's measuring all sorts of stuff. He's measuring like his height. He's measuring the length of the couch. He's measuring the ottoman. Well, he was kind of like, flinging it around. And I was like, don't play with it. I don't care if you're measuring stuff, but don't play with it. I didn't want it to break.
Or cut you.
Also valid. So he ended up playing with it, and I was like, give it to me. And so I took it away, and he lost his shit. He was super upset, and I was trying to be patient. Deanne was actually like handling the situation. I was just kind of chilling, and he would not let it go over the tape measure. And so for me, it's about like, you need to learn when we say no means no.
Yeah.
So giving it back to him wasn't an option anymore. Nope. But we gave him other options. We're like, yo, you can go to your room and go play on your tablet.
Yeah.
Or you can hang out in here and play on your tablet. Like, those are reasonable options. Yeah. And it was not good enough. And so he like kind of took it to this extreme. So I picked him up, took him to his room, and then I was done. I yelled a little bit. I wouldn't say I like completely lost my cool or anything like that, but I was like, we're not doing this. You're going to bed. So that one didn't work out as well. But last night it was perfectly fine. So it definitely ebbs and flows. And throughout the years, he's had less of the tape measure moments and more of the group moments. And I think he's going to continue to get better, but I think we also need to set more and more boundaries as he continues, like the whole teeth brushing thing. Yeah. Like, we need to continue to like ask for a little bit more. And I'm pretty good at negotiating, so I'll figure out something that's important to him and kind of help. And Deanne does that too. Like she's when we started dating, she didn't know he was autistic. So, and it was different. He was 5 years old. So for me, it was just being a 5-year-old. He was like, I would say a little bit more pissed off 5-year-old sometimes. Yeah. But for the most part, he was just being a 5-year-old. So, And then the only other dad guilt thing that I just kind of wanted to talk about a little bit, and I've talked about this in the past, but of all the, specifically when my older two boys were younger, I worked a lot. Um, and on the days that I would have off, my ex wife would take the kids to go do stuff.
Yeah.
And I always had an opportunity to go, but I was extremely selfish and I wouldn't go. And, I don't recall specifically that like those situations that I was sitting at home and I was like felt guilty. I think I was actually sitting at home and I was enjoying the the peace and quiet of like I'm
But do
finally
you like
well
so like yeah thinking back to it like because I've been in like similar situations like do we really enjoy it? Because I used to feel really weird when like she'd get home with the kids and I'd be like sitting there and like what did I do? I fucking played video games, made myself nachos and ate shit that I don't ever let the kids eat. Like I probably ate their fruit snacks and like they get home and I'm just like, oh fuck, dude, missed you guys.
yeah, I mean to your point, I don't know as if I actually enjoyed it or did anything. I didn't do anything like that was fun. And I think that's part of why later on down the road that really like kind of it upset me. I wish I would have done more of those things. Like those moments are important to kids.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I'm much better at it now. I try to interact with the kids and I was always there when we would dye Easter eggs and
Yeah.
carve pumpkins. I would do that stuff. But I'm also kind of just like a homebody. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily like going out and
Me either.
I'm I'm active, but I'm not like I don't know. It's hard to describe, but like I wish I would have done that a little bit more, specifically with the older two. And I think that we have a good relationship, and I just wish I was more part of those moments.
Yeah.
I don't know what their thoughts are on it. We've never really talked about it. I guess we can talk about it with Logan next week.
Oh, the question asked.
Yeah.
What other dad guilt do I have? I guess I would say sometimes being frustrated to have to handle things as a dad instead of being able to handle things as like a close friend. Because, and I told my son this, I was like, well, I told my wife, I was like, just so you know, like more than likely, if one of Ian's friends came up to me and asked me the same exact question Ian would, my response is going to be different. And it's not going to be different because I don't like care about my kid. It's going to be different because I care about my kid and I expect like you expect more out of them. And then like if like their friends come and ask, like you feel as if they're listening more to what you're saying than your own kids do. Um, and maybe not. Maybe that's just like the inaccurate perception that leads to arguments. Um, yeah, so I guess like the thought of I guess it's just the yelling, dude. The yelling, like the making the rash in the moment decisions, and then going back 5 minutes and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry because you got five things on your desk. Like, who gives a shit?" Like and I think that's the kind of conversations that I usually actually have with my kids. It's not I'm really sorry for the way that I acted. Like my conversations are fucking real and unfiltered because at the end of the day, that's what I want my kids to hear. And I want my kids to understand why I react the way I do. And it goes along the lines of, hey, I've asked you to do something. You haven't done it. Okay. I've asked you 10 times for three different things and they're still not done. Yes, you have five things on your desk. I told you to straighten them up. You don't care. I don't care. Like my exact words to my kids is, I don't fucking care. I literally don't care how much shit you have on your desk. I don't. What I care about is if there's a lot and now you're trying to do something else and stuff is getting knocked and thrown over and broken, that's what I care about. I care that you're not taking care of it. You have to have enough responsibility and respect in the things that you own and in your environment to treat it accordingly. I don't like things being broken. I don't like things being out of whack and in a crazy mess. Like, but I understand that kids, and I guess sometimes for me too, it's like there's peace in that chaos. So when there's a bunch of shit everywhere, you know what? To the outside looking in, you're like, how can you find anything? But the reality of it is, I can tell you exactly where X, Y, and Z is, and so can they. So I think for me, it's just like getting that frustration throughout the day of little things that, okay, all right, cool, I'm gonna let it go. And then you get to like the next one, and then there's like more attitude. You're like, all right, well, I let the first thing go. Am I gonna let this one go? All right. And then the third thing, it might be something silly, but it turns into an issue. And having the best way, I guess, to deal with that guilt is to have a real conversation. Like you said, Logan's at that age where, you know, you can talk to him as an adult. And I think that I kind of try to talk to my kids as an adult for the most part, and tell them that I'm going to be a lot more patient than somebody else in the real world, where in reality, you're 5 years old or you're 8 years old. And like, what reality am I talking about? Like what am I comparing this to? Like, this has no value. That's no value to them. It's like preaching to the choir, but the choir is deaf. Like, they can't fucking hear you. I can't fix it. I can't fix it. Just kidding. All right, stop hitting me. Yeah, it's the dad guilt of being unable to control your own reactions and motions and having expectations of your kids to do so is, I think, that's something everybody deals with. I don't care how perfect of a parent they might think they are. Everybody deals with it. And I'm okay with that guilt because I understand why I have it, and I understand the things that I'm trying to do to be better about it.
Yeah, I can't speak for everybody, but I think it gets easier the older you get. I think there's just we kind of touched on it with Richard, but there's just a different maturity level once you start hitting different age ranges and life lessons. So I am not perfect by any means, but I'm definitely always trying to work on myself and be better. And I sucked pretty bad in my 20s, I think. And, you know, maybe I'm being harder on myself than I should be, but I could have been way better. And then in my 30s, it got a little bit better. And then, you know, now that I'm in my 40s, I think I'm striving to be the best parent that I can be. Not just the best parent, the best person that I can be. So, yeah, I mean, it's still a work in progress.
It's still a work in progress. I think maybe as a parent, we think that progress stops at a certain age, and we'll get to a certain point. It's like in a video game, you get to a certain level where all the content becomes easy. Well, it's almost like the game's constantly on expert mode, and doesn't matter what level you got, what gear you got, it's still going to be just as difficult. You just find new and creative ways to approach the situation. And I think maybe that's where the fundamentals of parenting kind of goes into, is it's going to be difficult no matter what, but it's also going to be difficult because of the way that we handle the situation. Our kids are going to be responding to the stimulation, the stimuli that we're providing them. So if we start yelling, they're going to start yelling. And that sucks because sometimes that's all you want to do is yell. And like you said, as the older you get, you have that experience. I don't. I'm 33 years old. I think. I I'm still a wee little lad, and you're a grown man who's dealt with, you know, a lot of your stuff and your emotions and the way that you handle situations with your kids. And you still have a couple of young kids that are going to be able to sincerely reap the benefits of that. So I think that's, and I'm not saying that the older ones don't. I think there's benefit to that too, because they're going to be able to, they're going to see the transformation from in you as an adult and as their parent, and the way that you deal with the siblings.
I'm going to share this story real quick. So it kind of goes on what you're saying right now. Logan had a situation that happened this weekend or this week. So we chatted yesterday, and he was telling me that, you know, this person was intentionally antagonizing him, and they were they were getting under his skin, and like nobody else saw. So Logan plays ultimate frisbee. It's like a school sanctioned event, but it's not like it's a team. It's a school sanctioned college team, and then they play other colleges in New Mexico. And so he was guarding this guy, and he was just like consistently like getting under his skin, and there was just a lot of like barbs that were thrown. Well, Logan's like the quote unquote spirit captain, and like he's trying to make sure that like things are fair and people have good attitudes and all this other stuff. Well, he lost his shit on this dude, and when we're talking yesterday, he I don't think he apologized to the dude, because I think he thinks the guy's got like some real beef with him. But he felt like he let his team down by snapping and acting the way that he acted.
Yeah.
And so he had like talked to the coaches and kind of went through that. But it just goes to your point, like that's how I handled my situations with him. When I would lose my shit, I would then go apologize to him and say, "Hey man, I was way out of line. Like I was upset at what you did, but my reaction was literally almost worse than what you did." So I think that to your point, I think that there is added value in the transformation for my kids, specifically my older kids, in seeing. And like, I'm not soft by any means. Like if I don't think we should do it because it's unsafe or it's just not a good decision, or you're taking the easy route, I'm going to voice my opinion. I'm not going to let my kids take the easy route.
Yep.
I just think that there's a different way to go about it. And that's just something that I'm focusing on, I guess. So
I think that's huge too. That's like the icing on the cake. It's, you know, you could still be firm in your decision, but you could be firm with a level of leadership that's greater than demanding or barking or just because I told you so.
Yeah.
And I think they tend to eventually respect that more. I don't think at a young age they understand that as much. Because there's a thing that me and my wife, I've always had like issues with, not issues with, but like conversations about. So if you're always yelling, little things, big things, you're always yelling, how are they going to know what's right and wrong? Well, if you're going to be yelling them just as much for the little things, then same with the big things, they're going to know. So it's kind of comical, because now my kids know if I'm not yelling, that it's a big problem. Like if dad goes silent and he's really choosing his words wisely, you can see like their eyes like, It's like they're waiting for like the aftershock of the bomb to go off. Like it just hasn't hit him yet. And I that's I don't like that. I think that's I don't like that feeling of. I mean, just in general, I don't want you want your kids to. Well, I think my kids with some of their behaviors because they're comfortable, and I'm okay with that. Like they battle me and they might disagree, and I constantly I was like, yeah, I'm fine with that. You guys can disagree. Like I get it. You're comfortable enough that you either A, don't fear me enough, or you just know that it's okay. Like I'm not gonna lose my shit because you have your own opinion. And I think that's kind of like a good thing. I want my kids to I want my kids to listen all the time. But at the same time, I am constantly telling them, like, when you grow up, be your own person. Don't listen to what people tell you. If you disagree, tell them you disagree. I'm like, just don't fucking disagree with me. So it's like they're developing into the people that I want them to develop into. And they're going to be strong-willed and hard-headed, and that might be due to my wife being so hard-headed. But proud of them nevertheless. I think, to your point, having your son tell you about that, the thought process that he went through, and feeling as if he's kind of like a detriment to that team at that point. If he's lost his shit and now everyone else sees it, it puts everybody else in a funk. And as a parent, I think we deal with that all the time, especially when we yell, and then we can feel the mood shift in a room until we apologize.
Well, and I lead individuals at work every single day, and I have very few situations where I lost my cool the way that I lose my cool on my kids.
Yeah.
And
you're a great leader, by the way. I'm just say this, not to toot your own horn, but like toot. You're there's, I think from the 8 years I've been at Colorado Barricade, you've been the one true guiding light in the company that has either A, always been there to listen to, B, been somebody there to rely on, and C, that you could look up to and just say, you know what? If Patrick is telling us to do this, there's probably a good reason behind it. And if it's not, he'll tell us, but he'll tell you just to get it done and it'll be fine. And if you do it, you're good, man. Like you're a very good leader.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But I think it's just because like I know that you lose credibility when you yell. And there'll be people that will work hard for people that yell because they don't want to get yelled at, right? Like I was that way with my grandfather. And when I first started working here, there was a guy who worked here that he wasn't necessarily a yeller, but he was like he would like berate you in front of people and over the radio and stuff. And we had radios that everybody could hear everything. So, I learned that I didn't want to lead people that way. And so for the most part, I've tried to limit my losing my cool at work, tried to stay composed. And so why do I do it at work, but I don't do it at home? And I never thought about it until we just started talking about it. So I don't want to lose credibility with my kids either.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way to think about it. I really hadn't thought about it until we just started talking. So
I think you're dealing with different people. I think there's a difference in it though. Like you're at work, you're professional. Like I think there's a different level of expectation in yourself, and there's definitely a level of holding back that you don't have an option, because at the end of the day, you're doing it for your kids. You don't have an option to sit there and lose your shit over something tiny at work, because you know what, other people are watching. You have superiors watching, you have people that are looking up to you, and at home, Listen, everyone's watching, but you can be a little bit more relaxed in your approach to things. And sometimes it's just the day. Sometimes it's the way that the day goes. And unfortunately, you're not going to get fired at home.
I mean, you can. It's called getting arrested.
Or those Diaz brothers. Is that the Diaz brothers? When California killed their parents?
No, Jesus, the Diaz brothers are the UFC fighters, dude.
No, not those. There's
It's the Melendez brothers. And yeah, I don't want no part of
same
that.
Difference.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I think I said Melendez, but it's Menendez.
Same.
They're supposed to be getting released.
Did you see the documentary?
The Netflix one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it.
That shit was wild.
It's a very, like, we are super fucking going sideways right now, but it's a very interesting story.
That is interesting. We should talk about that.
I mean,
we should talk about that.
Get released. They'd be a great guest, you know? Let's talk about your parenting style.
Yeah.
What does a parent look like? No.
He was like fucking
this
dead.
is getting super dark.
Like head missing. Like, what? All right. Well, they can't teach any valuable lessons then.
But going back to it, like, I wouldn't want my kids to not be able to count on me. And that to me is worse than getting fired.
Yeah, that's true.
So I do understand.
But they also can't count on you if you're fired, because they count on us to reliably support. And so I think it's like there's that there. When you're at home, you should be able to kick back a bit. And I think you also need to understand that when you're at work, I can't say the same shit I say to you at work in public venues. Like, I think they learn that separation. And I don't think we lose credibility from our kids. I think the credibility of our kids seeing how their parents have two sides, where it's that professional and very, like, not proper, but they see that side of their parents that they might see, but not as much, because at home they're relaxed. And then, just like kids, dude, how many times have your kids like left the house and they come back and their parents' friends or whatever, like, wow, you're doing such a good job. Like, your kids are the kindest, most respectful, please and thank you kids I've ever met. And then at home, that's, hey, make my dinner, bitch. The fuck? You can't even use that language.
So Dad Guilt ran way longer than we expected. So we're going to
skip. Which is kind of good.
Yeah, it is good. We didn't think it would take this long, but it did. And we're going to skip the sibling rivalry for this week. And then we're going to wrap this thing up. It was good. It was a good conversation.
Do you guys like the funny stuff? Like, I hope whoever's listening, me and Patrick have had this. We're trying to, like, understand what's going to keep people listening, and we're both two genuinely funny people, and especially when our conversations are truly unfiltered. There's things that we can't say, and there's that's fair, but I mean, there's a lot of humor, and, like, I kind of want everybody to know, whoever's listening, that there's a side of you that you're always going to present to other people. Maybe it's to gain acceptance or whatever the case might be. And then there's a side of you that people just accept because they genuinely do like you. This podcast is kind of teaching me. I say some unhinged, weird shit sometimes. And instead of being afraid and worried of the judgment that comes from it, coming to the acceptance to say, this is me. I hope you enjoy it. And if you don't, have fun. elsewhere. Not here. Just kidding. Stay here.
Please stay here.
Please stay here.
Yeah, I think we've talked about is it better to just educate, or is it better to entertain, or can we do a mixture of both? Can we educate and entertain? So this is probably our first episode of being a little bit more normal. It's normal. Dimitri talking about.
It's like hooked on phonics at a strip club. You're entertained, but you're also learning math. Or reading.
What?
Isn't that phonics?
No, it's reading.
No? It's reading?
It's not math.
It's kind of math.
Well, fuck, I don't know, actually. Now that you're saying it, I'm not sure.
How many dollar bills are you going to hand out?
1.
Well, Dimitri gave Candy $3 bills and 5 fives. How many dollars does Candy have? None.
18.
Because they were all fake.
And a coke addiction.
So no money. Candy is broke. Candy is in debt to her dealer who's handing her the money.
All right. Ready for the question?
I'm ready for the question.
All right. I'm going to repeat it again just because it's important to me and my family, but this is Autism Awareness Month. We have an 8-year-old that is autistic, and he had a question last night at the dinner table. So my trend of going around the dinner table is asking just random questions. Sometimes it's we ask for your top 5 favorite foods. We ask for it's whatever we want it to be. So last night, unprompted, August, the 8-year-old with autism, asked the question of, if you had a time machine, where would you travel, and what would you do? And I'm going to tell you, while you're thinking about it, Dimitri, I'm going to tell you August's answer because it's fucking awesome.
Okay. All right.
He said, I would go back to the prehistoric days and I would show cavemen how to kickflip.
It's
pretty fucking awesome.
That is. Here's the thing, dude. The shit that kids say is always like, okay, so why kickflip to came in? Because in his mind, dude, August probably thinks kickflips are the fucking coolest things, and he wants to share that with cavemen because they have no clue. They don't even know what a skateboard is. They probably don't have a clue what the hell they are. So, like, I was thinking, like, go back in time. Like, when you said prehistoric, goes, oh, pet a dinosaur. Like, that's like, I think that would be kind of cool. But no, teach a caveman how to kickflip. That's even wilder. Like, everybody wants to go back in time, pet a fucking dinosaur. Who wants to go back and, like, meet a smelly caveman who, like, is like grunting all the time and say, hey guys, want to know how to do a kickflip? They don't even speak fucking English, dude.
He said he would teach him. He said he would teach him English too and feed him burgers. But the kickflip,
dude, he is wild, man. He's a fucking humanitarian right there.
All right, what's your answer, Dimitri?
If I had a time machine and I can travel anywhere.
Did you see my dog?
Anytime. I did see your dog.
This is Einstein.
Well,
Come here, Einstein.
I wouldn't travel back to see Einstein.
You wouldn't?
No, that's not far. That's not far back enough. That's exciting to me. Like, so I think I would go. So it's so hard. Like, is it only once? Is like a one-time use thing?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Like I can go back.
I mean, yeah, you'll come back.
Oh, okay. So I guess there's two answers, man. Like one, I would go back and I would invent some shit that would make my family.
That's already invented. You would just steal it from somebody else.
Yes.
Okay. It crossed my mind too.
Steve Jobs dead. I'm fucking
Who's
Apple
Steve
CEO.
Jobs?
Pretty sure that's dude that fucking created Apple.
I mean, I was being sarcastic because if you're going back in time, there is no Steve Jobs.
It's Dimitri Revere.
It's Dimitri Revere. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I would probably like fuck with the whole space-time continuum, and like I might come back and someone stole my identity, and I now know nothing of my family. If everything stayed the same, like if I was guaranteed to have my family and everything be good, I was like done. Like I will off anybody and become that person, and have my family just be living wealthy, lavish, and like help the world. But I would also want to go like 3,000 years into the future. And my son, actually, we talked about this, so it's kind of funny. My older one. And he said, what if everyone's dead? I was like, I don't care. Like, then everyone's dead. I was like, what if they're not? He was like, what if the Earth is gone and like there's space travel? I was like, well, then I'd be space traveling, dude. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm good. Like, I'm in a magical time machine. I can't die. Earth destroyed. I'm in the middle of like nowhere. That would suck. I can come back. Then I can tell everybody, hey, 3,000 later, there's nothing there. But what if there's like I like land on like a Battlestar Galactica kind of thing, and there's like aliens, and they're like pretty hot aliens. Like I'm a sick man, dude. That's all I got to say is like I would like to be around like sexy aliens. We actually talked about poutine last night at the dinner table, but they were talking about poutine, which is gravy on fries.
French fries.
On French fries. So we're talking about it, and my wife's like, no, it's called poutine. I was like, babe, can you imagine me when our waitress comes up and says, hey, how much is the poutine? I was like, I don't think that conversation is going to go well. I was like, it's not poutine. So yeah, I would either go 3,000 years to the future to coalesce with alien species, or I would go back in time and I would probably go back to like the 14th century. I don't particularly at this moment know what was going on in the 14th century, but why not? Like that'd be cool. I'm curious to see how people lived, how they truly lived, because I know it's a hell of a lot different. We've progressed so fast as a civilization in the past 200 years, 100 years, that I can't fathom like being back in the days where people were just stabbing each other with fucking swords.
Right.
Like,
right.
Okay, like there's no gun.
No running water.
There's no running water. Like how?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, how do you take a shit? Easily, you just shit. Like, what do you wipe with? I don't know. Like, what did they wipe with? What do you think they wipe with, Patrick?
I have no idea. I would imagine their clothes, but those are pretty limited too. So
there's no running water. So what are they? It's crusted over with shit. Like everybody just smells. That is wild, dude. And they're still like breeding. Dude, there's probably shit in places it does not belong. So, yeah, I don't know, man. That's a hard one. I guess maybe I'll just go back and pet dinosaurs.
teach cavemen how to kickflip.
Teach cavemen how to kickflip. Go have some interstellar battles, and yeah, I'd bring back a T-Rex. Actually, you did.
All right, you ready for my answer?
I am ready for your answer.
All right, this is the answer I gave last night.
Okay.
I also have two answers. So the answer I gave last night was I would go back to my younger self and tell my younger self who was winning the Super Bowl every single year, and then I would bet on it, and then I'd be
like
super
Back to
rich.
the Future.
Yes.
Smart.
So same thing, being selfish, trying to set up my finances.
Yeah.
The second thing, and I didn't bring this up last night, but I think I would like to go like 30 years from now and just see my family and like what is it now, and
God damn it.
how are my kids, like I'm curious how they like turned out,
Yeah.
and seeing what my life's like when I'm in my 70s. So I'm not necessarily looking forward to being in my 70s.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm kind of excited for it for the progression over the years that I've seen for myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my answer.
Dude. Yours got like you flipped a script kind of hard. With the first 2 weeks, my like answers were like all like deep and like mysterious and like had like sentiment. Like now I'm talking about like having sex with aliens and petting dinosaurs, and you're over here. I would like to talk to my younger self and have him rig every single Super Bowl. But I would also like to see where I'm at when I'm 70 and how my family's turned out. Those are great answers. I actually had something I was going to say, and in the midst of me talking, I've forgotten everything I was going to say.
You've Dimitri'd it?
I Dimitri'd it. I literally hit system refresh to a previous point in time. Maybe I'd go back in time and I'd maybe switch races. I'd be like, I wonder what it'd be like if I was black. Just out of curiosity. Can't do that with a time machine.
Yeah, I don't think that's how those work. You're still you.
I'm still me. Can you imagine me? But if I wasn't me, see, this goes back into like, what can you talk about and what can you not talk about?
Yeah, this is definitely a gray area.
It is a gray area. That was a good question, man.
It wasn't even mine. I stole it. I'm actually just a question stealer.
And I was back in time. I was from yesterday. So you went back in time and stole the question.
That's right. That's right.
That's very cool from an autistic 8-year-old child. So I don't know if that's that cool, but
I shouldn't steal from kids.
No, you should not steal from kids.
All right. Noted. All right. I'm asking people listening to the podcast, where would you go and what would you do? And please put it in the comments.
And give us some humor too. Like,
yes.
Give us 2 answers. All right. Give us a sentimental answer like Patrick did. And then give us maybe a caveman-esque answer like I did.
Right. Like, follow, subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. We're everywhere. Where else are we at?
Buzzsprout is actually not where we're at. Buzzsprout is a platform that sends stuff out. So it's like a pod page. Like Patrick, there's a lot. I don't remember any of them. I literally just named a platform that we posted on that gets streamed to all these different services. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in and listening. That was a lot of fun. Didn't think that was going to go on that. I thought we were going to have another topic to jump in on here, but it was pretty awesome that we were able to have a natural flowing conversation that extended far past the time allotment that we gave ourselves for the Dad Go. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.